Frederick H. Gray is Mitchell's grandpa, and he served in the Vietnam War. He was born on June 12, 1935, and joined the Army when he was 22, in December of 1957.
Why did you join the military?
I didn't want to join the military, but the draft was looking for me, the draft board. Because at the age of 18 you have to register.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, evidently, my number was called and I wasn't around. And I didn't know they were looking for me until my grandmother sent me a letter. She says, you know, the draft board's been looking for you for the last 4 years. So I had to run to an air base and join. We thought we were going to join the Air Force. And there was 4 of us. And when we passed our test, we passed our physical, and they had us raise our right hand to swear. We swore in, and the last words we heard was, do what was supposed to be done by the Army, so help us God. That's when we looked at each other and said, Army?
Throughout the time period of the Vietnam War, many men from all around the country were drafted. During this time, there was the lottery draft. The lottery draft had 366 numbers that corresponded to every day of the year, including February 29th. And anyone with a birthday on that day would be called into service. The good thing is, the Vietnam War was the last war to use the draft. Basic training during this time had 2 main purposes. One was to teach every soldier how to use the tools and weapons they might encounter. And 2 was to teach the soldiers classroom learning like how to keep good hygiene. Frederick H. Gray trained to be a part of the U.S. Signal Corps. They developed, tested, provided, and managed communication. They were the first ones in to set up communications and the last ones out to pack it all up again.
There were 2 of us that ended up together in the same basic training outfit. The guy came up and says, hey, Gray, he says, you can choose anything you want because of your score. That means my score was high, and I says, well, I don't know what I want. You choose, which was a big mistake. So, next thing I knew, I was headed to Fort Gordon, Georgia for signal school. And I went to training as a communications radio relay and operator.
Things some people didn't know about the draft during Vietnam were 25%, or 648,500 of the total forces in the country were draftees. Draftees accounted for 30.4%, or 17,725 of the combat deaths in Vietnam. Total draftees in the military in 1965 to 1973 were 1,728,344 Americans. The last man drafted was on June 30th, 1973. Mr. Gray is going to tell us a little bit about what his task was in the Signal Corps.
You end up with a team. There's only a total of 6 or 7 people in a team.
Okay.
And you're always in first and last out, is what they call us, because we have to be there, set up communications, so the other units can come in and do what they have to do. And when they're finished, when they leave, we have to stay there to make sure that they had communications until they reach where they're going home to. That's before we can tear down and then leave.
We then asked him what it was like being in command.
They were pretty good because the troops relied on me to make all the decisions, so I made all the decisions. I didn't have a first sergeant because the first sergeant and the captain were both relieved of duty, and I was put in there, so I ended up as the commander, the first sergeant, the field first, and also the platoon leader.
It's a lot of...
So I had all about 4 hats, and every time something had to be done, because I also supported MACV, which is Military Assistance Command, detachments all over the area, my area. And when the communication goes down, I just get some toothpicks, and whoever pulls the shortest one goes with me. I don't take a whole bunch of people because they got jobs to do, and we're on 24 hours a day, and I have to rotate these people, days and shift and night shift. So whoever pulls the short straw goes with me, and they hated it because there's only two of us going out. And sometimes we have to drive about 25 miles away, see? And then I climb up the stuff because my troops are tall. Okay, most of them are redhead, blonde, or something else. But I was small, and when I stay out in the sun, I am really tan. So I climb up and do the work on the wirings, and snipers don't pay attention to me. Yep. And it only happened one time when the sniper shot at me and just barely missed me. He hit the post right beside me, and it caused a ricochet with the material of the post and hit me right in the eye.
Deployment for the Vietnam War started on February 9, 1965. During their time deployed, 58,220 U.S. soldiers died. And on August 15, 1973, the U.S. ended military involvement in Vietnam. What we have learned from this project was that there was a specific unit dedicated to providing communication for an entire area to help protect the soldiers on the ground. These men worked 24/7 to make sure there was uninterrupted communication and would put their life on the line to make sure the communications continued to work flawlessly. We've also learned that not everybody knew that they were actually drafted into the war. In this case, Frederick was not trying to dodge the draft like many others were trying to do, but he actually didn't know he was called to serve. We also learned that the Signal Corps were one of the most important units in the war. Overall, our experience from doing this project helped enlighten us more on what it was actually like to fight in the Vietnam War.